Hello beautiful people, welcome back to this house of fashion. Hope you have fun every day. Today's episode is going to be on how to cut this lovely dress you are seeing on the screen. You can see is an Ankara fabric that is being used on that particular style, and that is what we are going to use here as well. I'm making use of 3 yards of Ankara fabric, 1 yard of a plain fabric for the sleeve area, then the stay to use at the bust area, then we have our bias, we have our buttons, that's cover button. So let me start by cutting the bustier cut first. So this is to cut out the front bustier cut. The first thing I did here is to fold my fabric into 2 to cut out the center front part of the bustier cut. So it's this center front that we're going to use to cut out the side front and the rest. So the first thing I will determine here is going to be my half length of 15 inches. Here is it. Then I'll be adding a seam allowance of 1 inch to it, making 16 inches. So the whole length is going to be 16 inches now. Here is a line of 16 inches, as you can see. Then the next thing here is to determine the breast point, the underbust, then the distance of the 2 busts. So let me now go ahead now by taking my breast point to be 8.5 inches. That is our breast point here, 8.5 inches. Then the underbust is 12 inches. Then the half cut is 15 inches. 15 inches. And I told you I added 1 inch of seam allowance. That makes it 16 inches. So these are the lines. So the next thing is to determine the distance of the 2 busts. And the distance of 2 busts here is 7 inches. That is 3.5 inches. Since it's folded into 2, then I'll take that down to the full length of what I folded out, like the half cut, you understand. So after taking the 3.5 inches down, I can now rule it out so that they'll be on a straight line, so that I will have a straight line. You can see, as you can see. Then I cannot take away the ruler, then take the necessary deduction. So from this upper part now, I'll be deducting 1.5 inches since the whole wideness was 3.5 inches. So we are left with 2 inches, you can see. Then I'll come to the breast point and add 0.5 inches here. We are not deducting here, we are adding here for the sewing allowance. Then at the underbust, we do the same thing we did at the upper part here. We minus 1.5 inches, then we left it 2 inches. So this is it. Then to the full length of the half cut, we do the same thing. So there's going to be a straight line here, a straight line like this. You know, they are both minus is 1.5 inches. So they are going to be a straight line. So from that point of underbust to the breast point is going to be like a slant line. So let me draw this out for you to see where the 0.5 inches added to the breast point. So I will now slant it from the underbust to the breast point. You can see. Then from the breast point to the shoulder. You can see. Then don't have a sharp area here, make sure you blend it. So I'm trying to blend it so that I will not have sharp edge at that point of the breast point. And this is what we are cutting out. You can see how the shape came out very nice. So I will now cut it out now. So we are cutting out the center front. So after the cutting, I want to notch the center so that by the time we are joining it, we'll know our breast point. So you can see how this is. You can see this is our center front. So it's this center front that we're going to use to cut out our side front by folding our fabric, another fabric into 2. You can see the remaining fabric. I'm folding part of the remaining fabric into 2. Then I will now place my center front by facing this no, this is how we cut it. So I will not face it to myself like this. You can see I've turned it to the other way around. I'll face it to myself, then place it on that, then I will now trim it out. So I'm trying to pin it down so that it won't shake when I'm cutting it out. So that's why I'm making use of obvious pin to pin it down. After that, I can now go ahead and cut it out. So I think this is okay now. So we are done with this now. Then I can now go ahead and cut it out. I don't want to waste much fabric. That is why I shift this to this end. If you are making yours, please make sure you don't cut out the cup. You can see the way I'm trying to cut it out. So after that, I will now remove the pins. After when I've done with the removing of the pins, then I can now place this on the folded fabric that we cut out just now with an ½ inch on it, ½ inch, you can see. Then I'll now make a straight line. After that, I want to cut it out first before taking the shoulder measurement. You can see it's an ½ inch on it. It's not that much. You can see at that upper part here is an ½ inch on it. Then I'll now take the shoulder measurements to be 7 inches because the whole back is 14 inches. This is my 7 inches. Then with a shoulder slant of 1 inch, then I will now slant it up here like this. After that, I will now take my armhole measurements to be 6.5 inches because the roundness of the armhole was 13 inches. That's 6.5 inches. Here is it. Then here, this is our half cut, you know. Then at this point, we are going to take our bust measurements to be 34 inches. No, anything we are taking here is divided by 4. Then with a seam allowance of 2 inches, 34 divided by 4, that is 8.5 inches. After that, I will now take the waist measurement of 28 inches. That is 7 in 4 places. It's going to give us 28 inches with the same inches of seam allowance. That is 2 inches, as you know. Then I can now cut out my sketch. Yes, after cutting it out, this is the center front and the 2 side fronts. Like I said earlier, I said we're going to use the center front to cut out the remaining pieces. So, and I took my center front to cut out the center back, then the side front to cut out the side back. You know, side back we not have a bustier cut. So just place your side front on your folded fabric, then take away the bustier part, then cut it out. The same thing applicable to the center front too. Place your center front on a folded fabric too. Leave your allowance at the back, then you place it in such a way that your bustier part of the front will not appear at the back. You know, back doesn't have a bustier cut. So we are done with that. The next thing here is the 180-degree flate that I've cut out for the down part. You know, we have done many tutorials on how to cut 180-degree flate, and for those people joining us for the first time, you can go into my channel and check how to cut 180-degree flate, 360-degree flate, even 90-degree flate, even 720-degree flate is there on the channel. So please, you can check that to know how to cut it properly. So I make use of light wording at the front part of the half cut where the bust is. You can see my light wording. Then I'm going to make use of a maybe a gum stay for the back. So this is my 360-degree flate for the sleeve. You can see I've cut out the 2. We have done many tutorials on how to achieve this. Please, you can check this as well. So this is the one that is going to be at the pleated part of the sleeve to make it the way it is on the thumbnail. So this is it. I've doubled the fabric. I doubled the Ankara fabric. So now the next thing I'm going to do here is to cut out the sleeve. It's an off shoulder sleeve and it has split. It has an elastic cover too. So how you can achieve that, that's what I want to do here. I folded my fabric into four for both sleeve. Then I take the length of my sleeve. Here is it. This is the length I'm making use of. You can make use of any length of your choice, but I'm making use of this length here. Then make sure you add a seam allowance to it. You can see, so the length I took here, I've added my seam allowance to my length already. So the next thing I'm going to do here is to take the wideness of this area. Assuming it doesn't have an elastic cover, the wideness of the shoulder here is going to be around 3.5 inches. But since it's an elastic cover, I can double it, I can triple it. So I decided to use 8 inches for the wideness of the shoulder here. Since when I double it, it's going to be 7 inches, but I use 8 inches. Then I will not take away 4 inches because that's how low I want it to be. 4 inches from the shoulder, and our shoulder normally is 6.5 inches. That's the armhole length. Then minus 4 inches, that means we're left with 2.5 inches, and that's what I'm taking there. Then I'll now straight it down to the armhole. You can see, then I can cuff it like this. I can cuff it, then straight it down to the full line that I took for the sleeve. You can see I just straight it down to this point. Then I can now cut it out. After that, you're going to see how the shape is going to be. This is after cutting it out. You can see the shape and the armhole. If you think that the armhole is too small, you can try to enlarge it more. So that's why you have an excess at the shoulder, since it's an elastic cover. So this is the flare I'm talking about. We're going to use this to make a pleat around this flare. Then I can also add an elastic cover there. Then at this point too, there's going to be an elastic cover at the shoulder area. So I'm trying to double the sleeve because I just want it to puff very well. Then the material I'm using is a silk, it's not a touch, that's why I'm trying to double it. You can see, just trying to cut it out again. So this is after cutting it out. You can see the final result. So the sleeve is now doubled. This first one is doubled, the second one is doubled. So this is now into 4 places. So I'm trying to enlarge the hem. So here is after joining the front. You can see the bust part of the half cut. The front, you can see I've stitched it with 0.5 inches. You can see how it is. So I'm not trying to fold it to get the center, so I can cut out some inches so that it will turn to an up shoulder half cut. So you can see the way I'm trying to fold it together. So after cutting the center, then I'm taking out 4 inches. 4 inches, you can see here is my 4 inches. Then I'm going to cut it out. It's going to be like a round shape, don't forget. So it's going to be like this. It's going up, it's not going down, it's going up. You can see it's not, I slant it up. Here is 3 inches to 4 inches, that's 1 inch. So by the time I cut it like this, I'm going to get that round shape. So you can see now. So let me cut it out. You can see. So you can see how it is now. So this is the round shape gotten from the shape I sketch out. So this is how it's going to be. You can see how the bust came out properly. So I have my bias here. Let me show you the bias that we're going to use for the center. The way it is, this is my bias. This is the button, the cover button I'm going to place at each line of the bias. So join me in my next video for the finished work and the stitching.